our country will fucking crumble without the middle class.
It will. Unless you want to be one of the 1%, you will now be in poverty if the middle class is continuing to disintegrate like it has been. Mm-hmm. What does RFK have to say about this? One, he addresses this early and often.
Yeah.
Every single conversation I've ever heard with this guy is emphasizing this point. And I'm gonna read some of the things that you can look into further on his website, because I am by no means a policy expert, but generally I am liking the type of solutions he's presenting for these issues. He is emphasizing an expansion of free childcare or subsidized childcare to millions of families. My brother has 3 kids and
3 little girls, like under the age of 2.
And it is more affordable for him to hire a full-time employee as a nanny than it would be for them to have childcare costs through daycare or other solutions. RFK consistently talks about dropping housing costs by $1,000 per family and making home ownership affordable by backing 3% home mortgages with tax-free bonds. This is really, really interesting and unique to me in the sense that I'm very encouraged by how possible this could be. And back to that point of home ownership, I think it's one of the things that can actually be really, really supportive of one's personal journey through life and financial journey through life. And so if we can facilitate a way that like 3% financing fee, financing rate can be supportive of first-time home purchasing, like I'm very, very interested in that. Like, then the question is, well, how are you going to do that, right? It's going to take money to provide these types of solutions for people in the form of taxes a lot of times. He continues to speak of cutting energy prices, restricting national gas exports. He talks about supporting small businesses by redirecting regulatory scrutiny onto large corporations, which would be preferred. I've been in the small business space for the last 7 years, both as an entrepreneur myself as well as a partner in other small businesses. And the fact that those small businesses get just as much, if not more scrutiny than the big businesses, have no leverage because we don't have the power, the lobbying that the big corps do. So you end up having to go through just as many, if not more hoops through regulations, fees, expenses, and then at the end of the day, taxes than would a larger corporation. And the costs that can be saved by just supporting people and redistributing some of that regulatory expense would be notable. Securing the border and bringing illegal immigrants to a halt so that undocumented migrants won't undercut wages. I don't need to get into immigration policy here today, but we live on the border essentially here in San Diego. And I'm telling you from firsthand experience, it's a problem.
Yeah.
Negotiate trade deals and prevent low-wage countries from competing with American workers in a race to the bottom. Reining in military spending and use those resources to fund infrastructure, healthcare, higher education, childcare, and domestic prosperity. That one is a no-brainer to me. The military budgets are relatively available for anybody who wants to look into them, and a fraction of redirection and reallocation on some of that spend can be life-changing for many, many people, not to mention the money that's been spent to international wars. Reverse the chronic disease epidemic that is a $3.7 trillion drag on families and the American economy. Again, this is one that's just clear to me. We talk about preventative medicine, and from our life at 34 years old, we've saved, kid you not, probably tens of thousands of dollars in our life by the emphasis on a healthy lifestyle, healthy diet, and avoiding the toxicity that's just in the world at large. And so with RFK's emphasis on an awareness around preventative healthcare, an awareness around the removal of toxicity and environmental issues.
And looking into what is causing it. What is going on? What is causing all of this chronic disease, this epidemic?
Right.
Is it the food? Is it the environment? Is it the water? Is it all of it? Is it, what is it? And no one else seems to be interested in figuring that out.
Yep. He's talked often about cleaning up corruption in Washington, D.C. that does funnel so much of the wealth of our nation to giant corporations and billionaires. He's got edits and alterations to make to student debt such that it's dischargeable in bankruptcy, and to cut the interest rates on many, many student loans down to zero. Drug costs, pharmaceutical costs. I mean, these pharmaceutical companies are just raking it in. That's no question to everybody. How do we make this more affordable? There's already some trendsetters in the space who are really trying to do this in an affordable way. And I think he is one who would be very, very supportive of those efforts. If you've got questions about the economic policy, please look into it further. I'm going to show a clip briefly about RFK talking economics.
My hope is that your generation and that of your children will have the same opportunities for dignity and enrichment and prosperity and good health as the communities that earlier generations of Americans gave to my generation. And right now, I'm the top choice for young voters in this country. I'm also the most feared and hated candidate in Washington, D.C. among the elites because I'm not bought and I'm not buyable by corporate interests or by the big lobbyists. As president, I'm going to end the forever wars. They bankrupted your generation and left you with $33 trillion in debt and gotten us nothing in return. I'm going to bring the money back to our communities to rebuild the American middle class. Did you know that the Pentagon has failed every single audit in history? You work hard, you pay your taxes, you play by the rules, but the government clearly is not working for you. The political elites want you to own nothing and be happy. The corrupt merger of state and corporate power has systematically stripped mined your generation of its wealth and equity and turned America from the world's exemplary democracy into a crooked corporate kleptocracy. By driving up the price of housing, they are transforming America from an ownership society to a rental society. And when they do that, Americans go from being citizens to being subjects. I'm going to end all that. I'm going to help you buy your first home with a 3% government-backed mortgage rate plan. I'm also going to bring rental prices down, which no one in Washington seems to want to talk about. And I get it. Why should you believe me? You're feeling disenfranchised, disillusioned, disenchanted with the whole political process. The folks in power have gotten your generation nowhere. They've crippled you with debt, and let's be honest, they've lied to you. My father told me when I was a little kid that people in authority lie, and our government and the mainstream media are now lying to us every day. And I say that enough is enough, and that's why I look forward to earning your vote. Put me under a microscope. Hold me to account. I'm applying for a job, and you're the recruiters. For more information, head to Kennedy24.com.
Well articulated. The economy is complex, and you know, there's been a lot of people running through the leadership position, and very few have made progress with things like national debt and the national expenditures and things of that nature. And so a lot is in this, but I do like what he is speaking to, because it seems so much more than rhetoric, and it does seem like something that can be transformative.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening.
If you enjoyed that, check out right over here for some more fun clips.
Oh, and you're going to want to subscribe.
Bye.